Welcome to New Day Cleveland. I'm Natalie Herbick.
And I am David Moss, and we are in Ashtabula Harbor. Not in the water, but in
No.
a city called Ashtabula Harbor, right?
Yes, it'd be bad if we were in the water, a little too cold. But we are right where the river meets the lake, so it is a beautiful, quaint town.
It's a great place, too. It's got a lot of great history. This is a place where the Underground Railroad had a great history, the importing of coal and ore, a great spot on the Great Lakes. As a matter of fact, they still do the coal here, you know, that's what that big thing is over there.
That's really neat and interesting to think about. And then how about the bridge that's behind us too? The lift bridge.
You know the name of it.
So neat.
What kind of bridge is it?
A Bascule lift bridge,
So
I
that's
believe.
one of the things you can learn here, but one of the best things you can learn here is it's easy to park and easy to find some great places to visit.
Yes, and it is, well, America's Main Street winner. That's what else we learned.
2018, that's what it's been called, America's Main Street winner.
Who knew? So our first stop today is going to be a place that does customized woodworking. Wait until you see some of these things.
I started, it was when I was young with my grandfather. He was a groundskeeper for the Blossom family in Cleveland, so I was kind of running around with him, and he had his wood shop at the Blossom estate. So I just kind of shadow him and watch him do his thing. And then my father's dad also built houses in Pittsburgh. So I'd kind of watch him do his thing, and I was always kind of fascinated with it. Once I retired from the military, I came home, I built a piece, and then once I built that piece, I kind of found out that I was pretty good at what I did, and then it was I enjoyed doing what I did, so it started out in my garage. Once people started reacting to what I was doing, I knew I needed to get into a storefront, so I got into the storefront. What I bring to the table that a lot of the refurbishing places don't, if they want a piece done in a certain color, but they need it to be this size, that's where I come into play, to where I can actually build that piece and then refinish that piece the way that the customer would want it redone. Crooked nail kind of came from watching my watching both my grandfathers. So they were in a generation to where when a nail got bent, as opposed to me, if I bend a nail, I just throw it away because I can get nails for much cheaper than what they did there. As opposed to my grandfathers, they always had coffee cans of a bunch of crooked nails and bent nails that they were going to straighten out and use later. So it was just kind of a unique way for me to capture that. One of my biggest sellers is the birdhouses that I do. They kind of call me the Mad Hatter of the birdhouses because I take all of these cast iron pieces, just stuff that people would generally just probably throw away or not have any idea what they're doing, or not, what this piece was meant for, what this came from, whether it be tractors, anything off a farm, any style of it. I kind of build these birdhouses out of this barn wood, and then I just do my own little tweaks to it. In Ashtabula, we have many demographics here. We have, obviously we have the boat and the beach crowd because the lake's pretty much right behind me. We have the lift bridge, we have all these yacht clubs that are going down through here. But then if you go 10 miles south, we have the country. I try to feed both sides. I have, one side to where it's all the beach and the nautical and everything else, and then I'll do my rustic. I'll do the old milk cans, different things like that people want on their porch. I sell pieces that I buy at an auction or I find somewhere, and I'll just sell them the way that I bought them a lot of the times. And then you have the newer people where it's more of a trendy thing to bring out your colors, to bring this, or they have this, this China hutch from the 1950s that when their grandparents had it, it was the style. Now it's just kind of dull and kind of plain. That's where I come into the mix, and then I can usually color match whatever they want and just kind of antique it and bring my own little flavor into it. It's one thing for me to take a picture of the piece while it's in the shop, and then it's another thing for the customer to bring me back, oh, look what we did, look where this is at. And that shows me my piece in their home. And then the nice part is most of the time after my first job is done, they're coming back for the next one, and they're coming back for the next one. Or they see something that they can't quite figure out where to put in their house yet, and then they come back. Once they find out where they're going to put it, they come back to do that.
For more information, you can contact Crooked Nail Custom Woodworking on their Facebook page. Well, guess what? David is right next door at a restaurant inspired by a butcher shop. So why don't you head in?
Well, here we are in beautiful downtown Ashtabula, and when I say beautiful downtown Ashtabula, right next to the bridge, it goes up and down. I'm not fooling because, Alex, you came here from what city?
From New York City.
You gave up New York City for downtown, beautiful downtown Ashtabula.
Yeah, it's a little different.
So what caused it? What made it happen?
Well, we were living in Brooklyn, Jennifer and I, and she's originally from Poland, Ohio. So she came out here to visit her family and saw what a beautiful little town this is. I mean, everything that was going on here, coffee being roasted here, chocolate being made.
So it's a great spot. So we're talking about Jennifer. She's in the kitchen. You're going to meet her, but we're at a place called
Rennick Meat Market.
Rennick Meat Market. So you walk in here, and I'm expecting to see a butcher shop, a meat market, but it's not. It's a restaurant.
Well, it was a butcher shop. From 1889 to 1962, it was Rennick Meat Market, and the butcher's name was Thomas Rennick. So when we came in here, and when it was vacant, but it still had all this decor, and it's like you were stepping back into the butcher shop, so we decided
I'm like this to you for keeping the decor, because when you come in here, it is so charming, like the rest of the town. It's just fantastic. Right. But you got the old meat hooks here. I even saw a bunch of cleavers hanging on the wall.
Oh yeah.
Not beaver cleaver. We're talking about cleavers like this.
And we have them bolted in just in case. Yeah.
Just in case. So you got a bar here. So you come from New York City. So did you bring something from New York City to downtown Ashtabula a little bit?
Well, I mean, I've been cooking since I was 15 years old there, and just working in the different restaurants, it's just bringing what I'm used to. To me, it's just like normal food.
With a different backdrop. Got a lovely little bar here, and I saw a big selection of wines also.
Oh yeah, we probably have 150 different varieties, both local and from around the world.
Yeah, so it's a great vibe in here. It's wonderful, but I think what we should probably do right now is check out. You were a cook for a long time, since you're 15, but Jennifer's in the kitchen now, right?
Right, yeah.
Let's see what she's up to.
All right, sounds good.
And here we have some stained glass pasta. So pretty much it's just pasta that is rolled out, and then we roll fresh herbs into it. So here we roll parsley and tarragon into the pasta. Well, I'm originally from Poland, Ohio, which is an hour south of Ashtabula, and my dad has a house here on Edgewater on the lake here. So one weekend he asked me to come visit him in town, and then we came and saw Bridge Street and kind of fell in love with the aesthetics of it, and Alex and I were looking into opening a restaurant of our own in Brooklyn. But of course, Brooklyn was a lot more expensive, and we kind of just went for it. We left the life that we knew in New York City and came to Ashtabula. I think initially it was a little bit different because people really didn't know who we are. They didn't know to trust us, and I think some of the food that we were putting out there, I think they were slightly afraid of. So now that they trust us and see that we know what we're doing and we offer good quality food, they're definitely willing to try anything that we put on the menu. So this is our braised rabbit dish. So basically, I mean, we braise rabbit, and then we serve it with the cooking liquid that it's cooked in, or the braising liquid. And then we'll add edamame, carrots, and spinach, juice of half of a lemon, and of course a lot of butter, because that's what makes it taste good. I think they'll have a great experience from the minute they walk into the door until the minute they leave, and that's starting with our service, with the cocktails or wines that we offer, and then of course the food.
Well, Alex and Jennifer are pretty busy right now, but I just wanted to tell you guys, if you want to check out the Rennick Meat Market, it's closed on Tuesday. All the other days of the week, they're open for lunch, brunch, and dinner. And if you don't know what to choose, well, get one of everything. It's all good. Coming up a little bit later in the show, we're going to meet up with Alex and check out the pasta shop.
Welcome back here to our road trip to Ashtabula Harbor. This is a spot that's been around for 17 years. Tony and her husband opened this up almost 2 decades ago. What is it like to know that people keep coming back year after year? I mean, this is a hot spot right along Bridge Street.
Well, what's happened down here is so exciting. I'm sure you're aware we just won Main Street USA.
And there you have that too, to top it all off, right?
And so we love the harbor. We love being here. I think we have, the greatest customers ever, and we have regulars from in town, and then, normally when people come to Ashtabula County, the harbor has become a destination for whoever's visiting. So it's been great.
It seriously is just so adorable, and it really is a destination, and that's why when you come to a place like this, you have to, you do a little shopping. And I know there's a bunch of great places right along Bridge Street. For this location, though, I feel like it's so great because it has a lot of things for your homes. And if we start at the front of the store and kind of work our way back, the front, there's so many great pieces of dishware that you have.
Well, I think if anybody is looking for something for their own home or as a gift, I think we can fill any need. If you want to spend $10 or $100, whatever your price point, whatever the occasion, I think we are the best option in town.
It is true. And so if you want to get a gift for yourself or for someone else, you can do all of that here. And you work your way back. I see that you have some body products too.
We have 2 different vendors of French soaps, lotions, hand creams, and I send this to my siblings by the case. It's all just extraordinarily great quality and nice scents. So if somebody is looking for an older person, the hand cream's great. It's rich and easy and just a great gift.
I love these little guys because you have birds throughout your entire store here. But you said these sell like hotcakes, basically.
There are 4 different styles. They're made of resin. They're $5.50. They look great no matter where you put them. And they're
just adorable.
We order 100 at a time. I do a lot of home decor and special projects for, in the design world.
Oh, so you also can help do a little designing too when they come in your store.
Yes.
See, she's used for multiple ways, which is an absolute wonderful thing. I see you have a gourmet section.
We have a gourmet food section and wine.
Now, wine makes up a lot of your sales too here.
People
love to come get your wine.
Yes. We have the lowest prices in town. In the state of Ohio, there's minimum pricing, so we're at the minimum. And if you buy 6 bottles or more, you get a 10% discount. And I think we do have a great assortment from all over the world.
And that's also good to know too. So again, whether you're buying a piece of furniture, whether you're buying something that's an accessory for your home, buying a little bit of lotion for yourself, or wine, you have it all under one roof. And it's such a cute store. And you're doing something right for being here 17 years.
It's been great.
It is absolutely fabulous. So again, we're right along Bridge Street. You can't miss it. Carlisle's. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Store.
Thanks
I
for
might just have
coming.
to get a little birdie. He's so cute.
Thank you.
Okay, feels like it's time to get a bite to eat to me, right? So how about a gourmet burger? We're gonna check out a place called Grindhouse.
Grindhouse is, we're known for burgers, but kind of change things up a little bit as we go. We make everything in-house, everything that isn't grown or cheese, but we do all of our own toppings, all of our own dressings, all of our own seasonings, all of our own everything from start to finish. So our kind of thing is like make it yourself, and if you want it to taste good, you got to make it yourself. You can't buy it. We have awesome salads and burgers. That's really kind of what launched us into everyday business. Really big lunch business. We're very fast. We have a thing called a Grindhouse Classic, which is our kind of staple burger, which is a burger, smoked Gouda, bacon, arugula, pickled onion, and a house sauce we make, our Grindhouse burger sauce. So it's probably our most popular thing, but instead of using bacon on a lot of things, we use pork belly or different pickled items, which kind of make it interesting. If somebody wants a medium well, they want a medium well. They don't want a well done, or they don't want a medium. If somebody wants a medium, they want a medium. You got to know what you're cooking and how to cook it and what the best way to read your customer is, because if you give them what they want and what they expect every single time, then you're never going to have a problem or a complaint because they asked you for it. So we do like a twist on a Cobb salad, which we actually looked up the original dressing for the Cobb salad from Brown Derby, and we do a replication of what the original 1932 Brown Derby recipe is. We also have the biggest view of the river, sitting inside. Everybody else just has one window and a glimpse. We have, obviously 4 panels here that you get to look out on anywhere you sit in the dining room. We all started working together about 8 years ago, and we all have like a really good working relationship, a great work ethic with one another. And it was a barbecue restaurant back here, Briquets. I started with the guys, first employee that they hired a long time ago. And then John opened the fine dining restaurant across the street, and I was with Nate at Briquets. And this place closed down, and the opportunity to buy it came up, and they both asked, well, do you want your turn? And I said, well, of course. So we came in here, and John had experience with doing grilled items, made the order over at the Bascule at the fine dining restaurant, and Nate had me prepared for restaurant management. So between the two of them, they've prepped me very well to be able to manage this place and kind of inject our personalities into it, which is, you know, old 50s music and Grandma States plates and Lou Gehrig battery sign, you know, whatever else. And people want personality. And if you give them who you are, you get a better response from them, because they don't want what you think they want. They want you, you know, they want a part of you. We got crayons and these butcher paper things, and I think we thought that more kids were gonna draw on them, you know? And now we find that when people come here, nobody's on their phones really. When families come here, they're playing tic-tac-toe, or when young high school kids come in here, they're drawing out their football plays on there. And when older couples come in, they write little sweet messages to each other. And it's kind of redefining interactive. You know, interactive doesn't always have to mean technology. They're interacting with each other again, which is really inspiring.
Just remember, Grindhouse is closed on Sunday and Monday. Coming up after the break, an artist that makes home decor from driftwood. Welcome back to New Day Cleveland, and one would think that Alex is taking over Ashtabula Harbor, because I saw you just across the street at Rennick's Meat Market, right?
Right.
And now we're at a place called Market Provisions.
Correct.
Okay, so what's the idea of Market Provisions? It feels a little Italian, and number one, are you Italian?
No, I mean, I grew up in New York City, so most people think I am, but I'm actually 100% Cuban.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta tell you something. When you come in here, you get to feel that you might be in Italy a little bit, except you got a lot of different kind of grains here too that are international.
Yes. So we wanted to get things in here that are hard to find in Ashtabula County. So we have things from all over the world, from Greece, Italy, Spain, Holland, you name it, we have it, and a lot of things local as well. And we wanted to do it in smaller amounts, so it's not sitting on your shelf for like 10 years.
So this is a combination of your cooking background and just living in New York City, where you can buy anything in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Like growing up in Brooklyn, this is a corner store.
Yeah.
It's not a specialty food store.
I like the idea too, when you walk in here, there's some specialty items. I saw some like local honey, some different jams and jellies and stuff, but I got a big kick out of seeing the cutting boards, which sort of came to your store by accident, didn't they?
Yes. So this guy, he's from Austinburg, and his daughter worked for me a few years ago, and he came in and just wanted to take pictures in the store with the boards, and they were so beautiful, I said, we have to sell these. They're gorgeous. It's out of Austinburg. His name is Mako Cutting Boards. Beautiful stuff.
So you have an eye for great things, and I tell you what, the reason I was talking about Italy so much earlier on is we've got a great counter here of different kinds of like charcuterie and cheese and sausages. So how did you pick this out?
I like to eat a lot, and sometimes it's hard to find a lot of these ingredients. So we have some great cheeses from like Taleggio, Fontina from Italy, local Moody Blue, which is a smoked blue cheese, Nikirsi meats out of Geneva, like things that are very difficult to find.
So these are great items. You walk in off the street, you buy this, you have a little picnic, or you take it back home to Cleveland or wherever you live when you come to visit Ashtabula Harbor. But one of the things I really love, who's the lovely lady making handmade artisan pasta?
So this is actually my partner slash fiance here, this is Bailey, and
nice work.
we make all of our pasta, our sauces, and meatballs in-house. So she's back there doing one of my favorites, which is peachy. It's a fat Tuscan spaghetti.
Peachy.
It's hand-rolled.
You know, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those ones that's a little bit bigger than a spaghetti, but I'm sort of fascinated by these little rascals too.
Oh, these, yeah. So this is called garganelli. So we're all familiar with penne pasta. And this is kind of like the handmade version of penne pasta. So what she does, she has a square of pasta and she rolls it. This is an old weaver's board. So that's why it has the rope on the outside. It would separate the slats.
Right.
And so you just roll the squares of pasta over that and it turns into like a handmade penne look.
Look at that.
We love like old school, and I mean that's what's great about Ashtabula Harbor. It's authentic, it's old. It's not like a replica, so that's what we wanted to do, the old school way of doing things.
So what came first, the fiancé thing or the pasta thing?
The fiancé thing. Actually, the dating thing came first, but the fiancé thing we were open already.
Hey, so how many different kinds of pastas you guys make?
Oh, we vary. Right now, probably around 15, 20, and every week we're adding more and more things.
It's great. So check it out. It's called Market Provisions, downtown Ashtabula Harbor. And what day are you closed?
Oh, we're closed Monday, Tuesdays right now.
Monday, Tuesday. Don't come Monday, Tuesday, any other day of the week. Thank you.
Thanks.
guess what? You can have a piece of the beach in your home. This next local artist can create decorations and furniture out of driftwood. Here's Adrift.
Adrift is my shop here in Ashtabula that I make things out of driftwood. Everything here is driftwood, from my guitars to shoes, sort of toy things, and a lot of like the ornaments and things. Those are big over the Christmas holidays. We walk the beaches a lot, so next thing you know, we pick up some wood, and I think the first thing I made was a table, and it just sort of blossomed from there. We have such an ample supply of driftwood around here that it's hard not to be able to pick it up. So that's sort of how it is. And it's actually my big advantage here is all my material is free. Sometimes I have a specific idea. Well, I was big into music, so I started making guitars, and they've sold. And that's a real time consuming. And then other things, the wood looks like the piece of equipment. I have a broken spoon there. When I found it, it looks like a broken spoon. I have another thing there that I made of Bart Simpson, because when I found the wood, it looked like Bart Simpson. My wife and I have traveled a lot. We've been to the Caribbean numerous times, Mexico numerous times, Europe. So everywhere we go, I take pictures and say I can make that. So that's sort of how a lot of it's come about. I saw a tree saw just recently, and I said, well, that's pretty cool. In general, it's just yeah, whatever comes up at the moment. And I don't actually like to make the same thing all that often. I like to do different things. The most popular are probably the trees. The palm tree that I have sitting there, I've probably sold 6 or 7 of those. Most of my stuff, in reality, it's so eclectic that the right person just walks in and they buy it. I mean, and some of the wildest things that I've done have been the best sellers, something that I would never think would sell, people like. For me, sometimes when I find wood, you don't know what it is all the time because it's all kind of gray from the sun and everything. Well, then if you end up with like a hard white oak, some things are really hard, you can hardly carve them. With a dimensional wood, you can just take a saw and cut it, and it's easy. With driftwood, it's always shaping it to some degree. That's the big difference. It's always evolving, so it's really never the same things. Even if it's the same thing I'm making, they're all different in their own unique way. I mean, none of them are carbon copies of anything. Actually, at this point in my life, this is my life, It's my man cave in a sense. In fact, my wife just retired, and people said, is she gonna come here? And it's like, no. Everything in here is me, good, bad, and different.
You can find more information about Adrift on their Facebook page. Coming up, a place where you can get award-winning barbecue.
Welcome back to New Day Cleveland. We are on the road again in Ashtabula Harbor right here on Bridge Street, and I'm thinking it's about time to get some food, right? So how about some pulled pork, or how about smoked brisket? Award-winning too. It's a place called Briquets.
Briquets Smokehouse is an authentic Southern-style barbecue restaurant with a bit of a northern twist and some modern flair. We do a dry rub on all of our proteins. They spend, depending on what the protein is, anywhere from 3 to 5 days in seasoning before we smoke it. And then we use real lump charcoal and hand-cut cherry. So the charcoal's for the heat, the cherry's for the smoke, and we cook it, depending on what it is, a period of anywhere from 4 to 12 hours. We sell a lot of 3-meat combos. That gives you a sample of our 3 kind of staple proteins: chopped chicken, pulled pork, and beef brisket. We're a rib joint, so we sell a lot of ribs. But then we've also taken to some non-traditional items. We do smoked corned beef. So it's corned beef that gets heavily peppered and smoked, sort of a hybrid between pastrami and corned beef. We put that on a Reuben, and it makes probably one of the best Reubens within the Oort Belt, somewhere in our solar system. We have pork melts, and that's one of our northern twists on barbecue. It has coleslaw on the sandwich with Swiss cheese, onion rings, and it's on grilled sourdough bread. When we opened up in 2009, we were trying to figure out what we could do to put a regional flair on Ohio barbecue. We said maple mustard is probably a good Ohio style. Sweet, strong maple aroma, and it's got that nice mustard viscosity. When we opened up, there were 4. It was hot and spicy, maple mustard, sweet and tangy, and a Tennessee vinegar, which is just basically vinegar with some spices and a little bit of oil and sugar. We do have a big patio. It looks over the river, so it's fun to sit in the summer and just watch the boats go by. I've been in restaurants since I was 16. What it means having a privately owned restaurant, being the proprietor of it, is that everything here is really a product of our creation, myself and my partners. We rely on our community and our guests and our team, and we try to do the best we can for everybody.
Briquets is easy to find. It's right off of Bridge Street on Morton, right next to the bridge. And they're closed on Monday. Natalie?
Well, you know when you go on a road trip, you have to do a little shopping. You can't leave the location without some, right, Melody?
You have to have something.
And you gotta come here to Heart Made Boutique. It's so funny because it's been quite some time, but it was a while ago. I was here at your place. You just moved over, just a half of a store, basically, it seems like.
Just a new location. The side was a little bit newer and hipper with some exposed bricks, so you just made a little shift.
Really cool in here, but the theme has really stayed the same, and that's what I love about your place. We're right on Bridge Street, and I know one of the big sellers for you is what we have all behind us here, and that's everything that you make, a lot of bath and body products.
We do handcrafted body products, and if there's something that's not on the shelf, we'll make it for you. You can customize everything. The basics are out there, but if you want to add vitamin E or a bamboo extract to your lotion, we'll do that right then. You can just take it with you, and we'll make you a special label. You can make it say something special if it's for a gift.
She really goes a lot to customize. You're really good at customizing. And you will have a lot of fun when you come in here. I feel like when people come in here, they have to have a good sense of humor, right?
Yes. I always say we have fun, funky, snarky, and unique gifts.
And let me tell you, one of the things you have to get is the soap bars.
The soap bars.
We can't show them, that's a teaser. Come out here and get those, just ask and she'll explain.
I'll
right?
let you know.
Yes. Aside from that, I know you have lip balms over here too, so and what do you have up front here?
We have lip balms, we have soaps.
Those are all soaps like
those
the
are
ducks?
all little soaps with toys on top for the kids, so once they're done with their bath, they get a toy.
I like that too. So it's always a toy at the end of things.
Yeah.
Clothes too. So seasonally things are changing out all the time?
Things change out all the time. I do keep certain things all year round. We always have long dresses. So if you're going on vacation in the wintertime, going on a cruise.
You keep that in mind. See, you're really thoughtful once again because it's that time of year when, say you're in the wintertime and you think, where am I going to find a cute dress to take away on a trip with me? You still have it.
Yep, I still have it.
So, and the other thing that's really cute too, I saw when I walked in, are your gift bags when you're sending people out the door. You can get your chalk bag.
You can get a chalk bag where you can write a message on it. So if you want to say something special to somebody, you can just write it right on the bag.
So what would you say when people walk through your store here are your biggest sellers? Because you really have a lot of different things in here.
We have a lot of stuff. Our soaps in the shape of Ohio are very popular. People love to give those. They come in and they're like, I need something from the area so that people know. Those are very popular. We carry a line called Ann Tainter. She does a vintage line of stuff with vintage women and snarky sayings. Those are incredibly popular. And then our clothing.
Everybody's also big.
The clothing is big.
It is a must stop. You have to just have a little fun when you walk in the store, and you will. Melody will make sure that you do. So we're at Heart Made Boutique, right on Bridge Street, very easy to find. And then you can do a little more shopping and eating right on the street. It's such a cute little
We have
area.
everything.
Thank you so much for having us back.
Thank you for
It was
coming.
good to see you again.
You too.
Now I got to get one of my chalk bags to go. All right? We'll be back with much more from Ashtabula Harbor.
Welcome back to New Day Cleveland, our very special road trip to Ashtabula Harbor. We're on Bridge Street, and I think this is the first place you should stop, Mary Ann's Chocolates, right, Troy?
Absolutely.
This is something. I walked up to the building, it's got some greatest things signs on the wall. It says the sweetest place on Lake Erie. Why is that?
We've been around for a long time. We've been around since 1963, and we use the original recipes, all the chocolate stuff, just as Mary Ann did back then. It is the best old-fashioned handmade candy around.
So Mary Ann's must have a story, right?
It does. It does. She started it in her kitchen in 1963, sold her first 2 pounds of chocolate to a bakery that was in Conneaut. Word spread from there. She ended up making more and more chocolate, and at one point her husband, who worked at the docks, had an accident, hurt his leg, and was laid up. And she was the sole breadwinner for a period of time, so she had to turn her hobby into a full-time business immediately. She had 3 kids.
This is a story.
Yeah.
So the gold coins I saw in the safe, is that the original 2 pounds of chocolate?
You'd think so, but no.
No. A lot of great things here. So we talk about the variety of chocolate you have here.
We carry everything. We make barks, caramels, turtles, peanut butter cups, coconuts, a variety of nut clusters, almond, cashew, peanut, pecan, walnuts, chocolate-covered pretzels, potato chips, wafers, Oreo cookies, marshmallow cups, graham crackers, caramel cups, marshmallow pecan squares.
So I say, well, I can't decide. Could you repeat that for me?
That's right.
It'd drive you crazy. So I saw someone in the back cutting up what caramels?
Caramels, yep.
Yeah.
We're gonna be running sea salt and regular caramels.
So the sea salt thing really took off, didn't it?
It's one of those things that just came out of nowhere that people started liking sea salt on everything. So
Yeah.
as soon as we started doing it, it just took off. And actually our best selling product is a sea salt product. We actually do a sea salt bark.
Oh,
that's different than any other candy store.
And speaking of your bark, I think about 3 of the stores I've been in on the street sell your candies also.
They do.
So you can't get away from it.
No. No, and interestingly enough, that even though we're on the same block, everybody has a different clientele. So some of their people are people we wouldn't see. So we're still able to get our candy into their hands.
A lot of chocolate places, I know they have trouble in the summer because it gets so hot. Chocolate's melting all the time. You guys are open year round?
We're open year round, yep. In the summertime, because of where we've relocated here from Conneaut, we have a lot of summertime traffic. So we're busy year round. So it's the summer doesn't hurt us as much.
I saw some fun signs on the building outside. What's this about a photo booth?
We have on our building, we've done like a little photo booth. It's a blown up picture of pretzels going into our chocolate enrober. So people can kind of come down and stand. Plus we have like huge peanut butter cups and big stacks. People can stand up to and see how tall they are.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, a lot of great looking stuff too. And the fudge. So how do you make the fudge?
We make the fudge all here on site. It's original recipe stuff. We have a fudge kettle and all that.
So this is the sweetest place on Lake Erie?
It is. Absolutely.
That's terrific. Well, let's go talk to one of the sweetest ladies visiting this Lake Erie town, Natalie.
Our next stop is a shop that is specializing in artwork made right here in Northeast Ohio. From jewelry to paintings, you can take home a masterpiece. This is Bridge Street Artworks.
Bridge Street Artworks is a co-op of like-minded artists that are in a revival state where we're taking, an area that isn't very populated with retail spaces for artists, brought them all together. 2 partners run the co-op, and we're all about selling art and making a living. We are a salon-style gallery. We don't believe in those blank white walls and putting one thing and measuring it. We believe in throwing the art up on the wall and around the tables. Very relaxed atmosphere. We have a juried process that we look for certain artists that will give us regional, more conducive to our area. We like more of the earth tones to bright colors to happiness. So we may have an artist that just does like wood products, and that's one product, that's one person. Yet there's someone that wants to come in and see healing forms of art, which I have a tendency to do. We have upcycle art here. I specialize, I have degrees, and degrees in graphic design and illustration, Kent State University alum, lifetime alum, and I'm a painter, acrylics, all media. So graphic design, that's another job I do. And in here too, I run all the advertising, all the Facebook, social media, everything. And my work usually is represented probably in painting more than anything. Our work is partially done here. I can't say all of my work is done here because I do a lot of other things. I do assemblage art, and my partner, Anziette DePuro, she does assemblage art, but she works up in a studio upstairs. All her stuff is just incredible. And then I do work here. I sometimes work on my front desk. But I have a full studio, full flight studio upstairs. We do classes, mostly group now, and we have a photography studio. So anything we do up there ends up down here, and it'll be for sale. A lot of the pieces that are here were assembled upstairs. So it's kind of like a little art factory. But that's why it's called Artworks. Many years ago, when I was just out of college, I said, you know what's lacking around here? Wonderful, by the way, art program here. We have great art centers. We have adults and children's classes, but we didn't have the adventure someplace like an Artworks where you can go in and sell your work. You had to go to the Cleveland market. Youngstown, believe it or not, is a very viable art market. Pittsburgh, New York, Philadelphia, and a lot of our artists want to stay here. It's a great place to live. It's very, it's a pretty inexpensive place to live, but it was like, I want to show my art here too. So there were little galleries, but there wasn't somewhere you could come in, create, or be creative. And that's the space we want. More relaxed and more artistic.
Bridge Street Artworks is open from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m., but they are closed on Mondays, so keep that in mind. After the break, a seafood tradition that has been around for over 50 years.
Welcome back to New Day Cleveland. It's our road trip to Ashtabula Harbor, and we are on, what street are we on?
We're on Bridge Street.
We're on Bridge Street at Harbor Perk Coffee, and this is Kelly, and you can't start the day off in Ashtabula Harbor without stopping in your place, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, I walked in, I gotta tell you, the smell of coffee is just unbelievable here. It smells like that when you open a bag of coffee and stick your head in it?
Yes.
Why does it smell like that?
Well, because as you can see, we roast right here in our shop, and when you leave, you're gonna smell like it all day.
The first thing I noticed when I walked in too was a big crazy wheel, like you see at a carnival or like in Las Vegas, and you spin the wheel.
Yep.
What's that about?
That's just a little local art, just to keep it kind of light and fresh. It's called the Get What You Get wheel.
The Get What You Get wheel. And it's sort of it's a big coffee shop, big, long, beautiful shop in a historic building.
Yes, beautiful.
And I know you have a great outdoor area also.
Yep, we have a nice little patio out back, and you can sit out front and watch the traffic go by, or sit in a 100-year-old building and enjoy the atmosphere here. It's very cozy.
Yeah, and like I said, it smells great in here. Let's talk a little bit about, I see the guys are roasting here. Your brother-in-law, you said?
My brother-in-law, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan. How you doing? Good, good,
and
good.
And my new trainee, Joe, and we've been roasting here in the shop for about 10 years. And Ryan,
10 years? You've been here 10 years?
We've been around 12 years.
So you started this when you were a teenager?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about sourcing the coffee. So I guess roasting your coffee is pretty cool, but if you're not roasting the right beans, you're not getting anywhere, right?
Nope. We get right from the store. So we have a great buyer called Royal New York, and we call and we talk about what we want to roast, what the cupping notes are for the coffee. They have a great website that you can go on and see what bags are available and how many. And then you call and order, and they tag them right for the Harbor Perk and drive them up here on a big truck. It's really pretty cool for Ashtabula.
Yeah, I guess so. And talking about the different kinds of beans, so would you roast different types of beans different ways for different results? How does that work?
Absolutely. Well, all the beans are grown in different areas, so that those beans are taproot, just like wine, and so they get minerals from the soil. So depending if it's African coffee or if it's something from an island, then you roast it different. You want to keep the tasting notes of the coffee. So something like a nice Ethiopian Yirgacheffe has these nice bright lemon notes. If you never want to dark roast that, you're going to lose it. Something like a Bali or island coffee that's completely surrounded by water, they can take a little bit more heat because they have more moisture in them naturally, and then you can really get a good dark roast out of them. The cool thing about what we do here is, you know, we get a couple thousand pounds a month fresh from all over the world. We get to roast them on these 2 6-pound machines in small batches and smell it the whole time.
So you develop that flavor.
Yeah.
So it's an artisan quality.
Absolutely.
Then. So I'm drinking an Americano. So what's an Americano?
So Americano here has a couple of shots of our espresso blend and some hot water. And so that's like just another way to get your caffeine in a day.
And if you want to call it a red eye, what's a red eye?
Red eye is a couple shots over a nice brewed, fresh brewed coffee.
So it makes it a little stronger, so if you have red eyes, it might help you overcome the red eyes, right?
Yeah.
A lot of different coffees here. A beautiful place. It's
Thank
called
you.
Harbor Perch.
Harbor Perch.
This is Kelly, and if you have questions for her, don't worry about it, because she's got a desk right in the middle of the place where she does all the work right in front of you.
I'm always here.
It's a great place.
Thank you so
much. Do not come to Ashtabula Harbor without getting a great cup of coffee. Thank you.
Salud.
Well, you can't be this close to Lake Erie without having some fresh seafood, right? Hillmax has been serving fresh cut fish for over 50 years. Check it out.
Fresh fish and seafood market since 1966, 52 years. My father, when he was a young boy living in Ashtabula, he worked in all the fish places down the harbor. And he always had a strong desire to open a fish market someday, and he did in 1966. He convinced a friend of his to become a partner. His last name was Hill. So they took the two names, combined them together, and came up with Hillmax. Lake Erie perch is still very, very popular in this area because that's where we're located. But we do sell a lot of ocean fish too. We have the greatest selection of fresh fish around. If they can't find it here, they're not going to find it anywhere.
Our famous lake perch.
We have a fried operation over here, so you can get fish raw to go or you can get fish fried to go. In the restaurant, we prepare it different ways other than just frying. We have baked, broiled, sauteed. I'm very appreciative of Ashtabula for giving us support for 52 years. So we have a loyal following of customers. I just love it here. I love this business.
I got to tell you, I like the Hillmax place, but there's one thing you have to remember. They are closed on Monday and Tuesday, and...
Well, a lot of restaurants and stores are closed on Monday, so keep that in mind. We don't want you to come out here and not be able to explore this beautiful town.
A lot of great things to visit that we suggested, but of course a lot of other things you can find on your own. We are in the middle of wine country, so a lot of places you can discover on the way into town and out of town. And watch out for the bridge, because when it goes up, the sirens blow.
Oh, it gets a little scary, but it's also so neat, so you got to come and check it out. And thanks for joining us today.
I'm David Moss.
I'm Natalie Herbeck.
And we'll see you on the next
New Day Cleveland.
So long.